I am at a repository I have never seen before. I just got here from our HTML exercise in our curriculum. So this fork and clone this repository. I clicked on that. I got here. So the first thing we do is we go to fork, click on our profile. And now that we see our profile name with the repository, we know that this is our own forked version. And so we can go to clone or download, and we can go ahead and click this. Also, if you've downloaded the desktop client, you can click open in desktop. So I have this down here. I'm not going to show this right now, but if I clicked this, open in desktop, it would just provide it right here. Makes it a little bit easier. I'll show that in a second. But if we wanted to just do this strictly with the command line, I could click on this clipboard. I would come to a empty place where I want all my code. So I would go and I'm in an empty place. I just type in git clone, and then I copy and paste that in and hit enter. So now when I type in list selections, I have that repository here, and now I can do cd into there, ls. There is no package.json, so I don't need to worry about doing npmi. If I wanted to go ahead and look at these pictures, I could go ahead and type in code. This works on every OS. This is telling VS Code to open the file, and it'll just show you a little preview of the picture. An alternative would be to get out of here, rm. Cool. Let's go ahead and delete this. I'll show you guys what it looks like on the desktop. Password input field. Cool. I'm actually just going to close out of that. Okay. Repository. Now, again, don't make sure it's under your own profile, or otherwise you're going to be trying to work on the master, and it's going to start throwing errors. It's going to say you don't have authorization. We want to make a fork. I just deleted it, so now I can do this again. I'm going to fork it again. I'll click clone, and now when I do open in desktop, it's going to ask me, is this okay? I'll hit allow. And now the GitHub desktop client will take care of everything from here. So it lets me pick where I want to actually clone the file. Lets me pick what well, this is where the repository is. You probably don't want to change this. And if we just hit clone, it does the same thing that our terminal does. If we wanted to, I was not paying attention to where this cloned down to. But it is now in our file browser. I probably should have been paying a little more attention to where that's sorry. Let me see. Darn it. If I was paying attention and I saw where it put this file, I could just simply come in and go straight to it. I almost never do this. That's why I wasn't paying attention. Let's just find another repository real quick. The checkpoint. Okay. So go to my profile. Now, hopefully at this point you would have been paying attention and you know exactly where to go to find your file. I was not paying attention. Okay, so it's throwing it in my Unity directory because I predominantly use this desktop client for Unity, so that's where it put my file. And Unity, Basic HTML practice. There you go. So it's the same thing. Here we go. Thank you guys. Right. So you can use the desktop client or you can use the terminal. It's up to you. Whatever one you find to be easier. It does literally the same exact thing. Just make sure you're paying attention to where it clones it, because I was not, and I made it a little bit harder to find. But yep, there you go. Same file, basic HTML practice. I think I deleted it up here just to show you guys the two different ways, but now you know. And if you're curious as to how to download the GitHub desktop client, you literally just type in GitHub desktop, and the URL is desktop.github.com, and there will be a button for you to click right here for your OS. I'm on Mac, so that's why it says Mac. If it was for Windows, it would say Windows, so on and so forth. So there are the two different ways that you can clone down this project if you wanted to get started on it. Now, if we come in here, let's go to the Unity directory and let's make some changes. So if I just create a simple text file, if I go to GitHub desktop, we can see it actually tracked that change. Now, I didn't actually do anything with this file, that's why it's empty. But if I wanted to, this would be the same thing as doing git commit. So this would be git commit. And then when you have your opening quotations right here, this is the message that you're inputting, is this message. So this is my commit message, But the cool thing about GitHub Desktop is that it lets you have also like a small summary if you wanted to of the commit that doing this from the terminal normally wouldn't let you. I'll hit commit to master. Now, what we just did is we did git add. Now the desktop client did that for us. It's watching this file. So technically all I did was commit it. But really, this program added our file. It did git add all. We just did our commit message and we hit commit. And now you'll see here it still says it wants us to push. So we saved the changes remotely on our computer. If we go to history, we can go ahead and see that I added this file. But if I go to my actual repository online, I won't see any of those changes actually reflected because they haven't been pushed to the remote. So 2 hours ago, this probably isn't the right one, but point being, this is only going to show on my actual computer. If we look up here, we should see it says that we should push to the origin. This says that we have one change that has not been pushed to the origin. So you should be able to either click up here or click over here. And then we just get pushed. That's what that just did. So if I refresh this, it doesn't change anything because I deleted it. But if you kept your repository, then you would see the changes actually show up inside of there. And that is both the ways you can use either the GitHub desktop client to use version control, or you can use the terminal. What we just did would be the same thing as doing git add, git commit, commit message, git push. That's what we just did on the Git client. I personally prefer the terminal because it's a little quicker, but with Unity it's a bit harder because you're not working with text files all the time, so sometimes it helps to have like your assets tracked by this client. And that is how you would get through the HTML unit cloning this repository for this exercise. So I'll just stop the video.